Once upon a time, in a small town, there lived a goat named Gary. Gary wasn't your average goat. He had dreams bigger than the hills he roamed. He wanted to climb the highest mountain in the region, Mount Crumble. The problem was that Gary had never climbed anything more daunting than a few rocks in the pasture. One day Gary decided it was time to take action. If I can get to the top of Mount Crumble, I can prove to everyone, including that smug sheep, Wooly, who always mocks my ambition, that goats can achieve greatness, he proclaimed. The other animals rolled their eyes. They were used to Gary's grandiose plans that usually ended with him stuck in a fence or tangled in hay. But Gary was determined. He started training by climbing the barn roof when Farmer Joe wasn't looking. He'd leap, practice his balance, and he even started lifting weights made of heavy bales of hay. His training sessions were both inspiring and hilarious, as every now and then the barn cats would gather to cheer him on or laugh when he fell off. Finally, the day came for Gary to climb Mount Crumble. He set off early in the morning, armed with a backpack full of snacks a goat has to eat, a motivational playlist of bleats, and an optimistic spirit. As he began his ascent, he encountered various obstacles: a steep cliff, a slippery slope, and even a group of sassy parrots who wouldn't stop squawking about how goats should stick to grass and not dreams. "Why climb a mountain when there's a perfectly good patch of grass right here?" one parrot yelled. But Gary wasn't deterred. "This grass won't make me legendary," he shouted back, surprising even himself. After hours of climbing, slipping, and occasionally rolling back down, which did nothing for his confidence, Gary finally reached the top. It was breathtaking. He looked out over the valley, the fields, and even spotted Wooly down below, munching away on some grass. "I did it!" Gary shouted, pumping his hoof in the air. Just then, as if the universe had a sense of humor, a sudden gust of wind stirred up and Gary lost his balance, tumbling down the mountain in a cartwheel of fur and hooves. Luckily, he landed right at Wooly's feet, who stared down at him in shock. "Well, look who fell from the top of the world!" Wooly chuckled. Gary shook himself off, looked up at Wooly with a goofy grin and said, "Even if you roll down a mountain, you can still rise like a champion. Plus, now I have a great story to tell." The other animals who were watching couldn't help but laugh. From that day on, Gary became famous not just for climbing Mount Crumble, but for his ability to turn failures into funny stories. He proved that the journey matters just as much as the destination. And most importantly, he showed everyone that it's not about how many times you stumble, it's about how many times you get back up, preferably with a sense of humor. And so Gary the goat lived on, inspiring all the animals in the town to dream big, laugh often, and never take themselves too seriously. After all, life is a climb, but it's a lot funnier when you can laugh at the tumbles along the way. Don't forget to like and subscribe.